Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Google Workspace Recap, a tabGeeks network show. Each week we take you through everything announced by Google Workspace, discussing the updates and other relevant news and announcements. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. As we said last week, we invite all of our podcast listeners to join us over on YouTube or click the link on our website, workspacerecap.com. Please do us a huge favor and hit the subscribe button on YouTube, even if you don't usually watch videos, as we need to reach a certain number of subscribers to unlock the full feature set and get our custom URL. And in another few more weeks, I won't have to read this off the script anymore, and I can just say it verbatim like I normally do every week off the top of my head. But I'm not there yet, so we'll get there. Anyway, hey Steve, how's it going on the what? Almost there. Yeah,
we are
almost there. 70, I think.
70, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we had
closer.
Just around 6 or 7 when we started this year.
3.
3. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I was 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's right. I forgot. I was
8, 9, 10, and 11. So
yeah.
There we go. Us people with lots of accounts. That's a good way to game the system. Well, now we're at 71, and hopefully we get this up and going fast. It's actually an even more monumental jump to get to the partner level status. You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watched, and I think we're at like 13 hours right now. So everybody go and subscribe and share it and watch it. And yeah, well, that's just going to give us the partner program, which will give us the rest of the feature set there. But it's not going to stop us from uploading videos or tagging our videos and things like that. The thing that we need immediately is that 100 subscriber mark, where we can get the tabGeeks name up there.
Yep.
How goes it on the Eastern Front? You freezing your ass off out there?
Well, it's east to you, yes. Midwest to others. It's doing all right. It's a little chilly here and there. It was colder earlier in the week, but so it's warmed up to a nice, balmy like 32 degrees during the midday. So, yeah,
it's literally twice your temperature here at night.
It's nice. Yeah, I think what is it? It's looking like around 27 right now in Chicago.
Well, it is 60 degrees here in Long Beach, thanks to my little Google clock over there telling me the temperature. Nice. But it's been pretty nice during the day. Yeah. I was up in the Palomar Mountain Range this weekend, and it was 30 at night. That was cold. I was like, whoa, not used to this anymore. I don't live in New Hampshire like I used to. It wears off, believe it or not. Anyway, Google gave us a bunch of updates. We've got a full episode this week.
We got a few more this week. Yeah.
They're picking up steam.
Not a huge amount. Yes, yeah. The year has begun. We have 4 official updates from Google. We've got a few more things that we've seen happening in the news, and we'll take you through all of that here very shortly. So, a couple things that did come out this week was that Google Classroom now supports grade exporting to the Follett Aspen system, which is a third-party student information system, so relevant for those education domains out there. And then we have some improvements to the Google Meet hardware issue troubleshooting features, making it easier to kind of diagnose and look at issues there from both the user and admin perspective. We also have live translated captions that Google Meet has gone generally available. So something that we had been talking about, I think, in some previous episodes about the translations and live captioning. So that is now in GA. And then the Nest Hub Max devices have been given some added functionality for those of you that are working from home these days. So there is now companion mode with Google Meet hardware and those Nest Hub Max devices to maximize collaboration during those hybrid meetings. So I've got one of the Nest Hub Maxes around and am going to try that out in one of my upcoming meetings probably this week. I have not had a chance to try it, but this is something that, I think, I don't know, Jesse, you were on a few of those calls in the past with David Rosenthal, who was a guest on the podcast a while back, and he was talking about this functionality coming to the Nest Hub Max devices last year. So something that we've kind of been hearing about for quite some time, and nice to see that finally being released at this stage. So that's what we have for you in terms of updates. And then in other news, we have the new Gmail iOS widget is finally live. So I presume, I know that was not me because I don't use iOS. So Jesse, I'm sure you're appreciating that. And yeah, and we have an event coming up here with Miles Ward and I think a few others thinking about moving your workloads off the cloud. And that is a C2C event that is coming up pretty soon, I think, right? In the next week or so, was it? January 20th. Yeah. Oh, a couple of days, actually. It is this week. So make sure you register for that. We'll give you the link to register on the C2C site for that. We have another one where it is an article from Forbes here, it looks like. Jesse, I know you love Forbes articles. Oh
my God.
Pay attention to the...
except when it's a Google written post like this is.
Yeah. So this is an article about pay attention to these 8 security megatrends in 2022. So I'm sure you'll tell us what those 8 amazing megatrends are. It's like Megatron. Sounds like a kid's show. And then the Pixel looks like it's going to be getting some new features that are old features, actually. So we'll talk a little bit more about that and tell you what we have seen, well, what others have seen from the kind of the code base on the Android platform, what's coming. And then you have something that is a very long awaited, there it is, look at that. Jesse is showing his lovely Asus CX9 with all of his fingerprints. So you can now take a picture of that and then unlock his laptop because he has a fingerprint reader. So I guess that's the downside of the fingerprint reader is, well, you've got all those fingerprints on there. You can just lift one off and then unlock the device. That is why I told you it is less secure than password and anything else.
I'll have to get a fingerprint lifting kit and test it out and let you know how well it works.
Right.
If the FBI kidnaps me, you'll know why.
Right. Yeah. So that is what we have for you this week, folks. And what else? There was something else that I know that you had shown. It was a comment somewhere, and we probably won't have time to get into it tonight. But I think one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, Jesse, is I think we should come up with some like in-depth tech topics in addition to the updates and kind of the news that we have. So maybe some weeks we cover, just like we have a guest on, maybe we have an in-depth tech talk. And the one thing that one of our listeners commented about was how well can Google Drive work to combat malware and also BitLocker or ransomware. Exactly. I'm saying, BitLocker, but ransomware. Because I think of BitLocker like ransomware because it's Microsoft. So it's kind of the same. It goes hand in hand. Yes, sure. Exactly. And ransomware. And what things can Google Drive do? Is it safe to use Google Drive for those situations? How can you recover from it? So that, we can definitely talk about. I think if we maybe plan that for next week, we can dive into all of the features Google Drive has from, the client itself, from security settings, things like that. And we can kind of help answer that question for the person that posted that, because I don't know who it was and I don't know all the details of what the question was. So it'd be good if we plan that for maybe next week and get our listeners, aware of that. So if they want to listen in, they can.
Yeah, it's a good one. And just our luck, Google will release 15 updates next week.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. Well, whenever we try and do a guest or something, it ends up being many extra updates.
God, I thought you were maybe looking at the upcoming releases. And I was like, I didn't even look at the visible changes yet.
No. Just saying, that's our track record.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's usually what it is. All right. So I was actually going to look into the visible changes now to see what what it kind of looks like for next week, or for this week, I guess you could say. So let's see what things look like for this week as it slowly loads here.
Could upgrade the internet.
Well, it's because they use a short link that redirects. That's why it takes a little while.
That would do it.
It's it's looking like a busy week here, Jesse.
See, I told you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Maybe we'll plan that for the week after then.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 7 scheduled updates for this week.
Okay.
So
if they all drop.
Yes, correct. If they all drop.
We'll see. Well, back to the present. Let's go through let's go through some of these
all right,
updates that we have here.
Yeah. So the first one, not too much to report on, really. It is a pretty short update in terms of what is actually happening here. It is the Classroom, Google Classroom now supporting grade exporting to the Follett Aspen system, which is a third-party SIS platform. And it just allows admins and teachers to more easily integrate into that. It's a feature that can be enabled for all users on the Workspace for Education Fundamentals, Education Standard, and the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, as well as Education Plus. So if you are an education domain, check that out. If you are using, obviously, Follett, and that should help things along for you there. Next, we have some improvements to the Google Meet hardware issue troubleshooting functionality. So there are some visual changes here to the Google Meet hardware section in the admin console, and it displays more detailed information regarding device issues. And these will include things like the issue history page, a device list quick filter, an issue detail sidebar, and new aggregated issues and count columns. And the article goes into show what this looks like in terms of giving you some additional screenshots of what the issue history is. So it will show you things like when was the speaker missing, when was the camera missing, and gives you a duration and a time and when those things were occurring. So maybe you can pinpoint maybe who was in that meeting room when these things happened and who could it have been that maybe disconnected things and did something to those devices, right? Yeah. So track those incidents down. And
we had that today. 2 different locations. Somebody really? unplugged the internet. 2 different locations.
Oh, wow. Wait, the entire internet?
The entire internet.
Like that.
The black box, all of it.
Sits on top of Big Ben?
Yes.
That one?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know why it sits there? It's because it gets the best reception. That's where the internet is.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Good location. So that is what going to help out admins look into those kind of details. There's some additional information about device issues in the sidebar when you click on onto the device list and the device details page. So you'll see things like the description and type and detection time, close time, duration, related events, and troubleshooting recommendations. So a lot more details that you can grab into this Meet troubleshooting environment on the admin side of things. So those updates will come automatically into the admin console. So as those roll out, of course, so there will be one thing that they do mention as the updates roll out. There may be some instances in which future resolution alerts for issues that open longer than 30 days contain a different alert ID than the ID originally included in the initial alert. So there's kind of a rare occurrence of these expected. But for any admins who have built custom task tracking integrations based on those alerts, should be aware of this in case they contain logic that relies on that alert ID. So newly created alerts going forward will not be affected. So something to be aware of on that. And this one is this rollout is beginning January 12th, which was last week. Just so happened to be my birthday on January 12th. And that's going out to, thank you. Going out to both rapid release and scheduled release domains up to 15 days for visibility on that. And available to all Workspace customers, as well as the G Suite Basic and Business customers. Hopefully pretty soon I can stop saying that because it's transitioning away from G Suite Basic and Business at some point here.
Yeah, 3 years from now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's still going to be some customer complaining that they have a 10-year agreement that's still on G Suite or something and can't get rid of it.
For sure.
But all those customers that have Google Meet hardware devices will be able to take advantage of the new functionality. And then next, we have those live translated captions available in Google Meet is now generally available. So hopefully they've worked out all the kinks because I know
we're going to have to test that again.
Yep. We were seeing some unusual things happening with the translation. Maybe it was, I don't know, just early days of that working. But it is now available to those in French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish. And translated captions are also available on Google Meet web and mobile devices. And this will just help improve some of that experience for users not always speaking the same language. So see how that goes. There's no admin control for the feature, but for end users, you can toggle this on and off by heading into the settings of your Meet, going to captions, and then translated captions, and turning that on and off. Again, also started rolling out to customers on the 12th of January on both the rapid release and scheduled release domain. Also on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature availability. And this is available to meetings organized by Google Workspace Business Plus users, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, and then for the Education, Teaching, and Learning upgrade and the Education Plus customers. So not available to Workspace Essentials customers and Business Starter, Business Standard, Enterprise Essentials, and then the other education nonprofits, those things. So, and then that also not available to individual customers with personal Google accounts.
Sorry. It's okay. Do you know if this is recorded? If the call is recorded and you've got the translated captions on, will it transcript it? Because the
captions are independent per user. Every person is going to choose different translation, right?
Yeah, well, it may dump them all, but I suppose that would not be so efficient.
No. Yeah, so it's definitely not going to be part of that recording. It would not.
Interesting.
Yeah. You would have to do, your own personal screen capture of that meeting.
Right.
Not through the Meet recording functionality.
Right.
Yeah.
Capturing of the screen. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'll come next year.
I doubt it'll come. I don't know. I don't foresee that. What I think will come is the transcripts.
Yeah.
From the event. I think that is already in the works.
Well, it's only an extra step to run it through a translation algorithm.
Well, because what are you expecting here in terms of, if you record a Meet event and you have, all those people in those languages, German, French, right? Spanish, Portuguese. How do you expect that recording to then play back?
Well, if you were to have it on either a saved video or even onto YouTube or an internal channel, you would want all of those people who needed to have it in that language in the first place to be able to watch it again or for the first time, but recorded in that language.
Right. So are you saying
saving
that you would
in
have
a language, then you lose that?
So you're saying you'd have 5 outputs, video recordings with 5 translations, one for English, Spanish,
Portuguese, just have the option on French. There.
So
that's
you're
how I would
saying
envision it.
The video how would you have an MP4 file give you the option to display certain captions?
Probably not in just a raw MP4 file, but if you had it on YouTube, for example, it could export those in SRTs or what have you as language files, which you could upload and then give the user the option to choose from which they wanted to display as a closed caption.
Okay. So I see what you're saying there now. So you're saying you would, so you would have the original audio and then you would have the SRT files to then complement and upload to a platform that supports closed captioning and language selection.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Right. I guess that's what I was trying to understand. Like, what was your, how would you expect that to be, the produced and delivered to,
that's what I would think.
to the users? Okay.
I don't know. Would you do it a different way?
No, I'm just trying to think, because right now, right, you get an MP4 file. That's it. You get a video attachment along with, your Google Doc of chat history. So.
Right. Well, I was originally saying that if you're going to at some point beginning a transcription, it's not that much of an extra jump to be able to transcribe it and also dump transcriptions in other languages should you want to use it. And then if you're doing that, it's not too far of a jump to then go into SRT files into a format that could be uploaded, etc.
Yep.
My thoughts.
Got it. Makes sense.
Onward.
Well, while we're on the topic of meetings, the companion mode with Google Meet hardware and Nest Hub Max is now available to help maximize collaboration during those hybrid meetings. So it allows you to connect devices that are in meeting rooms and to kind of have some features and controls on that one device to the other. So this is now extending over to the Nest Hub Max and using Google Meet hardware. So you can enable that. And companion mode is just giving you things like the ability to share your screen, chat with others, participate in activities, and raise your hand when you are, in, let's say, on your laptop and in the meeting room. So how do you identify yourself as an individual when you're in a room with a whole bunch of people, right? And sharing that single room. So that is something that is now available on both devices.
Have you tested it?
No, I've not.
It seems very cool.
Test it this week.
I'm not often in the environment where this would be useful to me. However, I can especially see people who are working still from home and don't necessarily have the best setup having a Google Nest device there, as well as their setup to be able to do things, to use it as a remote control and participate in those other functions of the meeting. I can see that being very helpful. And I can see this extending to if you have a Google TV, for example, tie that into it as well. Like there's a lot of room for expansion here, I think.
Right. Yeah. So the couple things that I'm going to be kind of testing out, because it does apply to me personally in meetings and also to organization. So we have a lot of people working from home, but we also have a lot of people in the office still, and we often have them 4 or 5 people in a meeting room. And right now we don't have the room set up with Meet hardware yet. We're getting there. So we don't have any, Meet or Zoom rooms yet. But once we have the Meet room in place, right now an individual is just plugging in their monitor and joining that meeting as themselves, that individual. So often, a lot of the people in that room will have their own laptop with them, or, they won't, because they know that there's really no individualism in like being able to type or chat, because, we kind of said, well, don't bring your laptop and join the meeting in that room, because then the whole audio feedback thing happens, right? And that becomes a disaster, right? So you don't want that happening. So, but what can be good is to give you that functionality to, go in companion mode, know that your audio and video is not going to be shared and interrupt that event, but allow you to interact. Like I said, like by sharing your screen, chatting with other people, participating in activities like the Q&A, and also doing the hand raising. So this is going to be a very useful big feature that's going to hopefully help move us more towards using Meet for our at least internal meetings for sure, and hopefully move away from some of the Zoom usage that we have right now. Is there something like this in Zoom? I don't really use Zoom at all to know it. Although we have it, I don't really use it. Is there something like this available in Zoom? Has it been available?
I don't know. I have used a second computer to join a Zoom meeting under a different name, or just say Jesse instead of being my logged in name, to be able to present during like our town halls, for example. The features such as you're talking about here, to be able to use it almost as a remote control, or to only join the other features as the same user. I don't know Zoom well enough to say one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen it, but they also rolled out a lot of cool stuff, and I don't listen to the Zoom recap podcast if there is one out there, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't know if there would be one. I don't know if there's enough updates there, but
well, they're trying to stay ahead, so maybe.
Yeah.
But I am curious about how this is going to work. Now, this isn't available on just laptops yet, right? It seems like it's only going live for Google Meet hardware and the Nest Hub Max.
Well, no, it kind of is available on the laptop, right? So if you go to g.co/companion, at least,
all right, I'm seeing
you can join that meeting in companion mode. And then that's how you can then interact into that event. That is on the meeting room hardware in there, right? So if you have Meet hardware and a meeting room and you're in that room, this is meant to complement that from your laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've sort of done this just in the past where I'll join Google Meet with my laptop as well as the Meet that is on the screen in the room, even without Google Meet hardware, if I wanted to easily share my screen, for example, and just get it up on the screen there, even for people that are in the room, even if we're not having other. I guess this was before, or not I guess, but it was pre-pandemic where if I didn't want to or didn't have the ability to hook up my laptop, I would just open up a Google Meet on the screen there and share my screen that way. So I think that's probably where this is starting to come from as well.
Right. Yeah. The g.co/present is what that was possibly for. So that would put you into present mode only and ensure that your video and audio is disabled and not, turning that on. So just like you have that g.co/present, you now have g.co/companion. And that gives you that chat functionality and that Q&A functionality and hand raising functionality, which the present just didn't give you before. So this is extending, all of those additional the additional functionality you have in the Meet event.
I'm curious what features are going to manifest on the Nest Hub Max. Is it like just tap to participate in polls, or is there a keyboard you can chat? Or
so for those events, it looks like it is, really just giving you almost what looks like I'm trying to say here, almost like a mini Google Meet device, where it has the video and controls, and it looks like you're there. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We'll see. I'll let you. Well, we should know by the next episode because I will test this out before next episode. Because I think, let me look here. It's a good lead into the rollout pace on when this is coming. So, companion mode on the web, g.co/companion is on kind of a split release here. It is coming out to those rapid release domains starting January 13th on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility. And then the scheduled release domains is taking a little longer and starting on January 27th and also 15 days for a gradual rollout of that one. So there is a little bit of a note here on this. It says for Workspace individual customers and users with personal accounts, there will be a gradual rollout starting on January 13th. So that kind of aligns with the rapid release domains. And what else do we have here? We also have the activity notifications on Google Meet hardware and the Nest Hub Max. So that is rolling out starting February 2nd for rapid release and scheduled release domains. And then also a gradual rollout for that up to 15 days for visibility. So the activity notifications, let's see here. Just trying to see. Looking at activity notifications. We'll see if that, I don't know, we may not be able to test that obviously because it's not coming out till a little bit later, but as soon as we are able to, we will report back and let you know how it goes. There is interesting, a link in the article that it's kind of interesting. It's just kind of so disjointed, I think, in some sense. So the article is talking about use this post in our community forum for more information on the rollout progression and additional FAQs. Now, I guess it kind of makes sense of where this link is going to. It is going to the Google Meet Help community page, right?
Yes.
And, that's kind of where support discussions go and things like that. But it's also not the Google Cloud Connect community, right? And it's also interesting that they said, use this post in a community forum for more information on the rollout progression and additional FAQs. And then, they disable replies. So, the question's been locked and replying has been disabled. It's like, I thought the whole point of linking to it was to have a conversation and talk about it. All they've done is, provided some additional details around the rollout percentages and how it rolls out, and a couple of FAQs. It's like
they may as well put it on the cloud blog.
Well, they might as well put it on the help article on the support page.
Yeah, well, yes.
Like, why have it in a community that's meant to have conversations and discussions when you could just put it on the help article? If it's just a static information, right? So I don't know. It didn't really make too much sense that it was going there, and then they disable the commenting. I mean, the whole point of putting it there is to have a conversation around it. So I don't know. This is going to be available to all Workspace customers, as well as those teaching and learning upgrade customers and G Suite Basic and Business. Basically, again, this is basically saying it's going to be available to all customers, but they've, just had 2 bullet points of saying it in a very long-winded way. Yep. And that's all, folks, for updates.
What I was thinking would be an interesting expansion of this on the Nest Hub, not the Max. You know how it has the radar sensor, the Soli sensor, whatever.
I don't have the small one. I just have the Max.
So I have the smaller one, and it's my main hub in my kitchen.
It's $40 right now. It's $45 right now. It's so cheap.
Is it really? Oh, it's a steal. It's an excellent device. But it has this capability where if you high five the air, you can pause or play your music. So I'm thinking, pivot this into.
Can I pause?
No, it's not. No? I feel like you're smacking me on the forehead here. No, but I feel like we could pivot this device to be something designed for work, where it's got kind of a work mode, where a certain hand gesture, wave, or something along those lines could mute or unmute. Because that's something that I'm always forgetting to do. And if I'm in another window on my computer or something, it's like, oh, shoot, I have to go back over there so that I can hit the keyboard shortcut, or so that I can click to unmute myself if I want to say something. Yes. If I could just high five off to the side, I mean, I might look like a little bit of an idiot every once in a while if I did that. Maybe there's a better way to do it. But, even just waving in front of the screen in front of me, because it has that radar capability, that would be a really cool way to do something like muting and unmuting, or pause screen sharing, give you more remote controls using the radar capabilities and stuff like that.
Is a good feature, because that is something that I find myself needing. When I'm actually, when I need it is when I'm on my phone on a meet and I have the headphones on and I've muted myself. I've stepped away. I can't tap the earpiece or anything like that to mute or unmute myself.
That would be nice.
I walk all the way back to the device and unmute myself. And everyone's like, "Wait, can you hear us, Steve? You're muted." I know. I know I'm muted. Halfway across the room, I got to walk all the way back, unmute myself.
I was thinking the other thing that also could be useful is if you're presenting, you could use it as a remote control to swipe to move to the next slide on a Google Slides slideshow. As you go through, without having to touch your keyboard or just anything like you just wave in front of it. So I don't know. I think it's some pretty cool stuff that we could do with it as they continue to bring that stuff in and imagine how they can be used in the workplace. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Other topics. So noticed that when did they announce this thing? I don't know. The new Gmail iOS widget is finally live. It's been quite a while since they announced it, and we've all been waiting to get it on the phone.
November.
Honestly, November. Thank you.
When they announced it. Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't used it all that much recently, but it is really nice to just see at a glance. I do wish that you could have more than just 3 emails on the screen there. Maybe there's a way to make it larger. I thought it was only just the one size. Nope, I'm pretty sure it's just the one size. So you have your top 3 emails on the screen there. I wish there was a way to kind of scroll through them. But having the ability to just tap into one of those emails or grab the compose email icon on there, which was the feature that it had previously as well. So it's nice that hung around. Other than that, it's just a cool way to glance at the top 3 emails in your inbox. Now, I am generally kind of I won't say a slave to my device, but it is chained to me pretty much all the time, except on the Sabbath where I'm not allowed to do that. And so I generally see all of my notifications that come in, and I'm able to know when I get new emails and what they are. So it's usually not a surprise what's sitting in my inbox, but it is a good reminder to glance back at the top 3 that are in there and say, oh, shoot, I need to take care of that or something like that. So cool to see that stuff finally rolling out, and hopefully we'll get some more progress going forward in the iOS apps overhaul as they move more towards the the design switch over that they announced to use the native iOS design language. Fingers crossed. Looking forward to that one. Other than that, the event that we were talking about before is not just with Miles Ward, but it is with a couple of other individuals. One other person from SATA. If you don't know, Miles Ward is the CTO of SATA Systems, and they're also having Rich Hoyer, who's the director of customer FinOps at SATA. So 2 good representatives from SATA there discussing thinking about moving your workloads off the cloud. They also have one individual from Etsy and one individual from Twitter. I'm going to try and pronounce these names. Kier Govandi is the VP of Infrastructure and Chief Architect at Etsy, and Nick Tornow is the platform lead at Twitter. So that should definitely be a good event, and that's going to be Thursday, January 20th. So pretty soon, depending on when you're listening to this show, pretty soon after. So definitely go and register for that.
I have a feeling Twitter and Etsy are SATA's customers.
Probably a good assumption there would be my guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Miles was actually going to be a tabGeeks speaker at the 2019 event that was canceled thanks to COVID. So that unfortunately never took place. We'll have to get him on the podcast and pick his brain about all kinds of things. He's worked on so many incredible things, and he was at AWS before. Well, he was at Google, and before that he was at AWS, and before that he was all over the place. So he worked on the Mars project or something with NASA. I forget.
Yeah, he's got his name attached to many patents.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Super, super cool dude. Not that the other people on the event aren't also super cool. I just don't know them. So you get a little sneak preview on Miles's bio there from me. The next thing that we have in the news is the Forbes article. And, I hate Forbes articles generally because it's just clickbait and garbage articles that are nothing having to do with what the headline usually says, or they flip flop going from everybody delete Google Chrome or everybody use Google Chrome all in a matter of days. So,
this was a guest post by the CISO of Google Cloud.
And that's why it's acceptable.
There you go.
But it is a marketing post, so take that with a grain of salt. But it is 8 different industry megatrends that increase cloud security further, and it is highlighting some of the things that Google is doing and has done and continues to do to, quote, secure the cloud. Not only Google Cloud, secure the customer, which is they're calling shared fate, and secure the planet and beyond. So if you're looking for some added ammo there, talking about cybersecurity initiatives for your executives and some other people in your company, this is probably a great resource to reference because it explains it in a way that is pretty easy to understand and straightforward. And usually the C-suite appreciates pretty easy to understand and straightforward. So take a look at that if you're interested in that. What?
Well, I'm looking at the article now, and you have the headline of the Forbes article. You've got a little ads around it, and so not only is the article, a paid placement itself, saying brand voice paid program, but right above it is a banner ad for Google Cloud. Yeah, built on data driven culture, and so. Not only is the paid article there, but you have an advertisement above it for Google Cloud.
Well, if there's anybody who should know how to do web advertising, it's Google. So that makes sense. Then another topic that we had here was brought up by Steve, actually. And being that you're a Pixel user, you're going to be one of the few to actually get this. But it's called the Pixel exclusive rebirth of a beloved Android feature. And it is apparently bringing back all of the wonderful things that were a part of Google Now, if you remember that from back in a very long time ago. Android 4.1.
Yeah, it's actually the article is really good. It's a Computer World article, and they link to MKB HD's video from Android 4.1 and when Google Now came out and explained. So it's a little nostalgia there of of course, seeing him also in his earlier days than
I'm
now.
a huge Marquez fan, and seeing that was just awesome. I got to go back and rewatch some of his earlier stuff. I want to be him when I grow up. I've said that before. It's so awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, what they've discovered is some of the Android code base changing and looking like it's going to be bringing back some of this Google Now functionality. So things like, kind of some of the different cards used to have like kind of cards and things like that would show up on Google Now. So things like with shopping, with, evening, like bedtime stuff coming, connected devices, your doorbell, fitness, a little reminder here for the flashlight, some safety checks, and then timer and stopwatch. So kind of informational cards and categories of what's going to be visible kind of within one screen there. And the Pixels at a glance area will soon kind of gain some of those features, it seems like. So have a look for that on the Pixel device, and think that would be a very welcome update to bring back some of the old functionality. So I think we're seeing a few little resurgence of some old features from Google here in other areas. So be good to see that. And then last but not least, you finally got your hands on that CX9.
I did. I got it. And it's interesting because I was looking around and I was like, nobody's really doing unboxing videos of this, and nobody is talking about actually having hands-on with it. They did the review articles when it first was announced, and a bunch of press units were sent out. For reference, it was announced at CES a year ago, not even this most recent one, but a full year ago, and it only just arrived now.
Did you get it before CES this year? I think you got it just before.
I think I got it like a day before. That week as it was happening, something like that. And I didn't open it right away because I wanted to be able to do my first ever unboxing video. So if you're on the video feed, if you're over on YouTube, you can see that I'm playing around with it now. But
it took about 3 months for you to get it from the time you ordered it.
At least, yeah. It's a nice device. It's a real, it's $1,000 or something like that. $900. Do you remember what it costs?
Just over 1,000.
Just over 1,000. But it's fast as hell. It's rock solid. It's got this kind of the not quite a kickstand effect, but it when you open the screen, it lifts the base of it off
how much I like that
the table. Well, I like it when I realized how hot it gets on the bottom. The bottom of it does heat up quite quickly, and that's one of the complaints that I had against it was that it warms up and the fans kick in pretty early. And maybe I'm just spoiled from the Pixelbook Go that I've been using for years, or my MacBook Pro 14, that you have to be rendering a 4K video, which I now do once a week, thanks to this show, and sooner thanks to the other shows, in order to get the fans on that to spin up. But on the CX9, they spun up just with a bunch of tabs open, doing Gmail and some other network. I was doing, I think, Ubiquity or something.
And that's an Intel, it's an i7 processor on that one, right?
I believe so, yeah. Does it say this one's got the i5? It's the Intel Evo i5. Yep. And but it's got a ton of ports on this thing: full size USB-A, headphone jack, micro SD, 2 Thunderbolts, and a full size HDMI. So very nice there. But yeah, pretty slick device. I did do an unboxing video. It is my first ever unboxing video, so I guarantee you it's terrible. But hey, you got to start somewhere, right? So I will. I actually pulled up my old microphone mount, and I had another phone mount holder that I had from years ago, and I mated the two of them together and set it up kind of like over here, and then use this podcasting or episode show recording setup that I have here, because I don't really have an unboxing studio like MKBHD does, and recorded my phone kind of facing down with the lighting and all of that. So hopefully it comes out good, but you'll have to let me know, and or at least for the comedic value, come and see how terrible it is over on the YouTube channel when I get it up, probably in another week or so.
I was just going to ask, how long will it be until we see that?
Well, possibly never. Depends how terrible it is.
Got it. But it will be, if it does come out, it'll also be on the tabGeeks YouTube channel, right?
Yep. I don't know. Okay. I'll create another playlist and call it bloopers. I mean, unboxing.
Oh, fuck. Right. Nice.
So, yeah. Well, that's all for this week. Again, if you're listening on the podcast side, come and join us over on YouTube so you can see our funny looking faces and all of the expressions that we do throughout the podcast, or throughout the show, I suppose. And a sneak peek of the CX9 in my hands. Not that you can't see what it looks like elsewhere, but hey, it's video. That's why it's fun, right? And I mean, it's not live, but that's a different reference for a different generation. Hit the subscribe button if you would over on YouTube, because like we said at the top of the episode, we need the subscribers in order to get access to all the fun stuff. And if you are new to the show over on other podcasting platforms, hit the subscribe button over there. I really have to optimize this ending. It's starting to go on forever. Leave us a review on your favorite platforms if you would. Give us a comment, mash the like button, whatever all the YouTubers say at the end of their YouTube videos. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.